Welcome back to the Mind Body Project. Thanks for taking a little time to join me today. Today, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I am in one of my favorite chairs in my house, in my office. It is just a place that I just feel comfortable, I enjoy. And so I want to speak to you today and come from this place that brings me joy and comfort and talk to you about it's a week of Thanksgiving. And as always, we think about gratitude and what the things we're thankful for. And so I just wanted to visit with you a little bit today about gratitude and thankfulness, and especially in this season of Thanksgiving. We're more intentional about it during the season, during the holidays. And so I just wanted to share a little bit and come from you from the place that I'm grateful for, which is this chair in my office. As I was preparing for today's show, I got to thinking about this chair and sitting here and with my bookcase with all the books. Some I've read, many is still a lot to read through. But as I was thinking about this space that I'm in, and I thought about all the years that I've had this space, probably. The Mind Body Project has been over 2 years now. The show has been going, and before that, I'd wanted to start a podcast, and I bought all the equipment years before, and just hadn't quite pulled the trigger to do it, to start the podcast, because of all the reasons that I've talked about in so many shows of what will people say, what will they think, how will it come out, all those different things, all those things we each have insecurities about. But as I thought about that, I thought, before I even started the podcast, just audio only, just this year I started putting it on YouTube, I had in this very spot each week on a Friday evening at 5 o'clock, I would go on Facebook Live and do the conversation corner. And of course, my chairs, if you're not watching on YouTube, my chair is in a corner. It's next to my bookshelf. I have a lamp here. I have medals and stuff behind me that I've gotten during running events and different things. And this was my idea behind that, was that I would just sit and have a conversation, just as if you and I were sitting in a coffee shop or in our living room, or if you're sitting across from me in my office. We would just have a conversation. And some of the topics were just like many that I've shared with on the Mind Body Project. And it was just a conversation. And I don't know how long I did that for. Maybe a couple months. It wasn't that long. But those conversations you can still find on my YouTube channel, which is Aaron Degler. You can find those. You can look back and you can see those conversations I had. But as I thought about that, I thought about gratitude, and I thought about the conversation corner. At the time, I thought, that kind of fizzled out. It wasn't very successful. Didn't have very many people view, all those different things. But, as I got to thinking about getting ready for today's show, I thought about, but I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful for taking that step out. And with Facebook Live, it was going on live as I was doing it. So it was a little different format. Here I can edit, I can do some different things. I can, make my voice sound a little better in editing, all those kinds of things. But on Facebook Live, it was going straight out. There's no, let me do a redo. There just wasn't. But yet I was grateful for that opportunity as I thought about it to have that practice that to speak to an audience. As I spoke, being Facebook Live, I thought, who is on the other side? Who is watching this now? And I do the same now with the show, is who is listening? Who's that one that needs to hear those words that I speak? Maybe see my mannerisms, see the guests maybe that I have on. Who is it that needs to see what I am doing? So that just gave me an opportunity to reflect, to be grateful for. At the time, I thought it's a flop. It's not working. But fast forward a couple years, and I go, that was very valuable. That was very valuable to doing what I do now, and which is, producing the Mind Body Project on a bi-weekly basis. And so it just made me have an opportunity of being thankful and having gratitude. And during this season, we become more emotional, and we really think about all the things we're grateful for. But, I like to say gratitude is an attitude. We hear about, we give more, we're more caring, we're more thankful, have more gratitude, all those things during this season, from Thanksgiving to Christmas, a little bit before Thanksgiving, all the way through the new year. We really have that big sense of gratitude and just that big emotion. But I urge each of us to carry that on through the year. It's an attitude. What am I thankful for? Sometimes we have the lousiest of days. And this is just a stinky day. But isn't there something in that day that we can look at and be grateful for, have some gratitude towards? And what happens is, what we find is that starts to become a habit. How many times, or how many people, we may be one of those people, that everything is the sky is falling. Everything is woe is me. Because we haven't taken the opportunity, or others have not taken out the opportunity to say, what am I thankful for today? What can I have gratitude about for today? What went right? What went right? After the alarm went off, we got up. The day could have went south all day long. But we're so thankful that we were able to get up with our alarm. We got up, we had electricity, we had a warm house, a cool house, whatever season it might be. We could flip on the lights, we could turn on the faucet, and they all worked. Those things we take for granted. But couldn't we have gratitude for those and I'm so thankful that I had those, that I had a warm house or a cool house, or I was able to take a shower, I was able to take a bath, I was able to get dressed in clothes and go out to work, go off to school, whatever it may be. We can be grateful for those small things. No matter what happened after we got up and we did those things, we can be grateful for that. Maybe the day didn't start out right. Maybe a hot water heater went out. We didn't have any hot water, electricity's off, all those things. And then we get to work, we get to school, we get to our organization, we're volunteering, wherever it may be, and we see somebody and they just have a nice conversation with us. They just give us that smile that we need. They just give us that pat on the shoulder and says, hey, I'm glad to see you today. Just something, and the rest of the day may have gone down the drain. But at that moment, we can say, I was grateful for that person to give me that smile, to have that brief conversation, whatever it may be, I was grateful for it. So we find that starts to become our attitude of, today's been lousy. That was a lousy thing that just happened. But we turn immediately and say, what am I grateful for today? And it doesn't happen all the time. I'm just as guilty of it as any of us, of the day getting away from you. The day just, I have a friend. She always says, you waller in the swamp. You waller she actually calls it, you just waller in the crap for a while. And sometimes you go, I don't really want to get out. I'm just going to waller here for a little bit. And that happens, and that's okay. But that shouldn't happen every day, all the time, and we shouldn't want to stay there. Sometimes we just want to waller around a little bit in it, but then we get out. But that's a rarity. We want to work on, when those things go south, when they go down the drain, we have that attitude of, what am I grateful for? And we start looking for those things. We start looking for those opportunities. We start looking for those reasons to be grateful. It's no different than if we buy a red car and we haven't really noticed any red cars, but all of a sudden we see tons of red cars. Are there any more red cars out there than there were out there before? No. We just now notice them more because we have a red car. Same thing is true with gratitude. Are there more things out there to be grateful for than there already was? No, not necessarily. But since we're changing our attitude towards gratitude and we're starting to have an attitude of gratitude, now we start looking for those opportunities. We see those opportunities. Oh, I see that one. That is a great opportunity to be grateful for. That's a thing to be grateful for. That, and then the list goes on. And then we start to see that our days start to change. Our days start to change from being full of doom and gloom to full of opportunities for gratitude. See, the day didn't change. We changed. We changed our attitude from a woe is me attitude to a gratitude attitude. And now we start to look at the day differently. So many times we want to blame the day on others. Sometimes, others may cause some things, that may be true, whether it's work, relationships, whatever it may be. There may be some things there sometimes. But when we go into that day looking for how can I be grateful, we view that day completely different than if we go into it without an attitude of gratitude. And I really want to encourage each of us to, during this season, think of, yes, we have a lot to be grateful for. But what happens on January 1st? Thanksgiving's over. Christmas is over. And of course, January 1st, we have all the New Year's resolutions. So we might have a little bit of, I'm still going to be grateful. We might still have a little bit of that. But what happens January 17th, 18th, what happens February 2nd, when we're getting further and further away from those holidays where we're really grateful for things? We really bring it to the forefront. We start to forget about those daily things that we're grateful for. So it has to become a habit. I have a challenge going on with a small group class, training class right now, that they're on a point system and they do certain things, cardio and strength, they get points. And if they do a daily habit, they get a point. And so I encourage them to pick a habit that's something that they want to work on and they want to do. And they have to do the habit all month long, all of November. And we'll have a different habit for December. But some picked, actually a few picked. One picked, I'm going to write down 3 things I'm grateful for. That becomes a habit because you start to write those things down. Another person said, I'm going to text an encouraging text to at least one person every day. And that makes us that habit starts to make us look, who are we grateful for? Who do I want to encourage today? Who am I thankful for? Because aren't we grateful for somebody if we are sending them encouraging texts? That means they mean something to us. When we start taking the act of not only noticing in our daily life things to be grateful for, but now we start to write them down. That has power. I really believe that it's a different way of when we're grateful, whether we type it or write it. When we write it, I see it as, you're grateful, you have those ideas, and they come through your mind, through your heart, out your hand. There's a process there that imprints from mind, heart, out. Your whole body feels it because you had that thought, it went, and then it became emotional in your heart, and then it became an action as you wrote it out. And that, again, is how we change an attitude. An attitude starts with a thought, then an emotion, then a behavior. Same thing when we write it out. Thought, emotion, your heart, action, you write it out. It starts to become ingrained when we have that attitude of gratitude and we start to write those things that we're grateful for. So many times we hear about a gratitude journal. It might just be those things you write on a daily basis that you're grateful for. Would writing it be good? Yes. But if you can put it in your notes on your phone, doesn't matter. If you want to jot it down on a Post-it note, if you want to voice record it, there's a million different ways. There's no right or wrong way to start looking for those gratitude moments, those things that we are grateful for. Because Thanksgiving will come and go. Christmas will come and go. Valentine's Day will come and go. Easter will come and go. all these dates will come and go. Before we know it, we'll be back to the same day again next year, talking about being grateful. And you might say, man, this year I'm really going to pay attention. I'm really going to be grateful. I'm really going to have an attitude of gratitude. Or, as you listen to this episode, listen to me talk, today is the day you start creating the attitude of gratitude. What does your year look like when every day you focused on that attitude of gratitude? Every day you focused on it. How is your life going to look different 365 days later until this day next year? It's going to look completely different. Your outlook on life is going to be different. Your demeanor is going to be different. Your relationships are going to be different. Your world is going to be different. So I challenge you, don't just take this as going until the first of the year. I have New Year's resolution, I'm going to carry it on. Don't make a resolution. Just start creating the habit. A habit, we hear so many times, it takes 21 days to create a habit. But on average, it takes about 100 days to create a habit. 100 days. So we get upset with ourselves when after 21 days we don't have a habit. Why did I forget to do that? Oh, it takes 100 days. So that may mean, and that's the average. Some are quicker, some are 300-400 days to get the average. So that's just to get the habit. So that's just the average. So the key is just keep working on it. Keep doing it on a daily basis. So I'm going to focus, I'm going to be intentional about my attitude of gratitude. Each day, I'm going to find something to be grateful for. Not just because it's Thanksgiving holiday, not just because it's a Christmas holiday, just because it's the right thing to do. And I want to be able, those gratitude moments to be all around me, and I want to be better able to see those. And how do we do that? We do it on a daily basis. We start doing it more and more, and we start seeing it more and more. And I would love to connect with you on, if you need some help on those, go to my website, aarondegler.com. I'd love to connect with you there. There's through email, through text, whatever it is. I would love to connect with you and maybe share with me some of your things that are gratitude and how that attitude of gratitude has changed for you. I'd love to connect with you in one-on-one coaching, in group coaching, whatever it may be. I would love to connect and hear your success of having an attitude of gratitude. That is the most rewarding thing is why do I do the Mind Body Project? Why do I put out this? Why do I spend my time? It's to touch a life, to change it just a little bit, to say, you know what, I did 12 days of an attitude of gratitude. I forgot about it for a month, and then I went back to it. Then I forgot about it for 2 months, and then I went back to it for a little bit. But that seed is started. That's planted. And that's the purpose of the Mind Body Project, is to give you some of those seeds that you can plant. And some are going to be ready to harvest sooner than others, but we just have to be patient. But I see it as my responsibility to help you plant those seeds. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. As I tell my wife Kim every night before I go to bed, it's Bottom of the Ninth, Double A, out.